How to dominate probates in your market as a beginner. Guys, it's Rick in here with Flip with Rick, and today we're going to talk all about probates. And I'm here to tell you wholesaling probates is much easier than you think, and I guarantee you're overthinking it. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 6 things that makes probates the perfect fit for wholesaling, especially as a beginner. And if you stay with me to the end, I'll show you how to dominate your local market using a simple technique that works really well. But before we get started, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, hit that like button to continue to receive the absolute best information available on wholesaling today. Probates. Yes, they are perfect for beginners. The biggest mistake I made in probates is I waited almost 10 years in my wholesaling career before I decided to purposely attack probates. You see, before this time, I did them all by accident. And what happened is when I sat down with my accountant and did my taxes, he said, Rick, whatever you did or however you got these 4 or 5 deals, you need to do a lot more of them. And I said, why? He says, the profit was phenomenal and they added the most to your bottom line. So I went on this venture and said, listen, I'm going to dedicate and learn everything I could from probates. And to be honest with you, I didn't take anyone's advice. I just went into the courthouse. I learned how probates worked in my county, in my state, and I decided a way to attack it, and I have never looked back. I will tell you, within 45 days, I got really, really good results. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to be a lawyer. You definitely don't need to be a realtor. You don't have to be a law clerk. You just have to understand how to connect with these people. Let's go over the 6 reasons why probates are perfect for a beginner in wholesaling, and I want to open your eyes on it. So number 1, the house is not the priority when it comes to probates. Let me repeat that. The house, that's right, the property is not the priority in a probate. How do I know this? Because I've done a lot of them and I've listened to so many stories. I've talked to thousands and thousands of people either looking to go in the probate or in probate or out of probate or haven't gone into probate. And I am here to tell you their biggest concern is not how much they sell the house for. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Some people are completely focused on price. But whenever I deal with these people, there's 2 main factors that come to it. Number 1, they're looking for convenience, meaning they don't want to go through the dog and pony show of listing the house. And guys, I throw it out to them, why don't you just list the house? And they'll tell you, Rick, I just want to get the house sold with the least amount of drama and just get to, if we can get to this number, that would be great. What they're trying to say is price is not their most important item when it comes to a probate. And I've learned this time over time. So many people in wholesaling, especially beginners, get into it. They think it's always about price. And I'm here to tell you, a lot of people in these situations, if you've ever had a loved one passed away, the last thing on your mind is how much you're going to get out of that property. In fact, I would tell you the opposite. They actually struggle with parting with the house because there is an emotional connection. And you have to be human to understand how to bridge that gap. And if you try to run them over with price, I'm here to tell you it does not work with probate. So number 1, they're looking for convenience. The second part of why the house is not the priority, it's a lot about their dignity, because it's a very, very emotional thing. If you've ever dealt with someone's house or you've personally dealt with it when a family member or a friend or a loved one has passed away, it's traumatic to go back in the house. I've dealt with this personally, and I'm here to tell you, if you go in and start destroying the value of that house on a walkthrough, telling them everything that's wrong with you, I guarantee you won't get the deal. So this is why it's perfect for beginners, because if you understand what the seller truly wants to achieve, which means they want it to be as painless as possible. Number 2, they want to walk away with their dignity. This is somebody's house. A lot of these houses we're buying, people have been 30, 40 years in. And I'm here to tell you, they're very connected to the house. So you telling them the house is a piece of junk and I can only buy it for this, it's going to eliminate you from the equation. Guys, understanding the house is never the priority in a probate. It is important to get the right price, but I'm here to tell you, your sellers are focusing on convenience and dignity. And number 2, why probates are perfect for beginners in wholesaling is these houses are predominantly vacant. Somebody passed away in it. For the most part, more than half of them, if not 2/3 of them, are completely vacant. Well, Rick, what's vacant? Like, why is that important to me as a wholesaler, especially as a beginner? I'm here to tell you, it gives you the easiest path to put the property under contract, show the property to potential cash buyers to purchase your contract. And you don't have the typical objections of having the seller living in the home or anything like that. Most often, a lot of these, we have sellers out of state. They live a few cities away from it. Guys, this is perfect because once you get under contract for the right price, it's really easy to market your contract and get the highest cash buyer because you control who goes in and out of the house. You have to be respectful about it. But in my opinion, this reason alone makes it perfect for a beginner in probates. See, so many of you think, well, I'm a beginner, I don't understand probates. I'm here to tell you, I took that attitude for 10 years and I missed out on an incredible amount of money. And if you get one point across in this video, go for probates. They are perfect for wholesaling and especially beginners because of their ease. So that moves us on to number 3. So number 3 is most probates have what we call deferred maintenance. Basically, the houses are run down, the houses are not in good shape, and most of them are outdated. So most houses get a refresh about every 10 years, and that's on the long side. So as trends change, some people do tiles, some people do stone, some people do laminate, some do carpet, some do terrazzo. You've watched all the styles. I've been around long enough to see what comes in and what comes out. Remember, when you're taking care of a loved one whose health is declining at older in age, the last thing they're worried about is taking care of the house. Their priority is taking care of the loved ones, and that's how it should be. And I want you to understand the typical person that's looking to sell their property in probate is they spent probably the last 5 years, maybe even 10 years, taking care of their mother, their grandmother, whoever it is, their father, their grandfather. All the money goes towards taking care of them. Healthcare, especially long-term, for seniors is extremely expensive. The medications, the doctor visits, the hospital stays. The last thing they're worried about is fixing the roof, painting the house, or updating it. And for this reason, makes the houses perfect because traditional buyers on the market, they want houses that are completely ready to go. Most probates are so far from that they need a cash buyer, aka you, a wholesaler, to buy that property. And what perfect way to buy it other than as a beginner? Guys, I'm here to tell you, if you think you have to know everything about probates before you buy them, you're doing it wrong. They are looking for a convenient transaction and to be treated fairly. In return, right now you get a house that's vacant and you get a house that needs fix up. Why is that important? Because it typically requires some sort of cash buyer, and typically you're going to sell it to someone who wants to doll the house up and take it to market and take the entire risk of doing that, and you are going to make a huge premium for doing it. Guys, deferred maintenance is huge on these houses because they all need help from wholesalers just like you and me. Why not you? Number 4 of why these houses are perfect for beginners in probate, they require cash. So I talked about this earlier. What does that mean? It means a traditional person is probably not going to get approved for financing if the windows aren't up to date, if the roof's leaking, if the air conditioning is not working, if the grass is overgrown. To be honest with you, most traditional realtors and traditional finance buyers, especially FHA, VA, they run away from these properties because honestly, they want the repairs done to the property and tied into their mortgage. The problem is the house needs a lot of repairs, and until those repairs are completed and funded, there's no way to wrap it in. Somebody who wants to take the property from start to finish all the way to the end. Remember, you're finding the deal, you're selling your contract, and that's the sweet spot to make your money. Do not be a flipper or rehabber because there's so much unknown cost in these older houses when you have to fix them up. I don't want you to do that. Because they need cash, they are perfect for beginner wholesalers. Number 5, and this is a big one, guys, and this was my aha moment when I first really dove into doing probates, is they are perfect for what we call creative financing, aka subject to. So subject to just means you have the ability to take over someone's mortgage and just step in their place. Why they're so much more attractive in probate, and nobody ever talks about this, is because when somebody passes away, what's the risk of taking over that mortgage to the rest of the family? As long as they feel they get their share of equity. So just say the property's worth $200,000. Say they have a $170,000 mortgage, and say you give them $3,000 to $5,000 cash up front. You know, whatever the number you negotiate. That $170,000 mortgage winds up being your bank loan. It's soft money. You're not personally signed for it. You have to make the payments on it. You can turn around and sell that property with owner financing, and you will have a line wrapped around the door. And guys, think about those. What's your objections from the family when they sell a property like this? The number one objection is you're going to risk my credit or the house will go on foreclosure. Number one, if I give you $3 to $5 grand up front or whatever you negotiate, then that's my risk. I'm not walking away from it. So I want to make good for it. And number two, if you want, I'll show you the online payments. And number three, since I'm cashing you out and giving your equity up front, there's no risk, meaning the bank can't come back to you. They can only come back to me. And if I fix the entire property up and I give you money up front, I'm going to make sure the thing gets paid off. And here's the really cool part is you have till the end of time to pay it off whenever the mortgage expires. That part alone, the subject to creative financing in probates, is an amazing way to get started in wholesaling. And if you want to do that creative financing niche, there is no better, and let me repeat this, there is no better property than a property in probate, and it's perfect for a beginner wholesaler. Okay, number 6, last but not least, I told you this in the beginning of this, is my probates, bar none, have the highest profit level for all my types of deals. Wholesaling, wholetailing, really, really minor fix and flip. I don't do any like the major things. We just get our returns are 3 to 5 times what we would normally get on a healthy assignment. Most of my probates are north of $65,000 spreads, and they've only gotten better year in because I get better at what I do. And as a beginner, if you can make $20,000 as opposed to $10,000, you're already starting ahead out of the gate. And this is the reason why I want you to get active as a beginner in probates, because they are amazing. And if you do a probate deal, it's like doing 4 to 5 times of a regular wholesale deal, and they fit perfectly in your business plan. Guys, do not overlook them. So now I'm going to share a tip with you that I've used in the past. I've taught other people how to do it, and it's really simple. We're all about doing things here free. So I'm not talking about pay-per-click SEO searches or anything like that. I'm going to show you how to become the authority on probates in your area, and we are going to reverse engineer that. And the reason you want to do this is, like right now, you need to understand video trumps anything you put in text on the internet. So if you have a video with content, remember, they're just words. With video, people like it because it's spoon-fed. The reason you're watching this is because video is much easier and it's easier to consume. You can fast forward it, you can replay it. It works really well. So knowing that technology, use it. You're never going to win on an SEO search on Google unless you're going to pay the most, and it's going to cost you a fortune. Here's a reverse hack for doing it. Use YouTube and Facebook pages. Number 1, they're free. Number 2, you will become the instant authority in your area on probates. So here's the difference you need to understand. Do me a favor. Just go into YouTube or even like Facebook, particularly YouTube. If I live in Knoxville, I'm going to put in Knoxville probates or Knoxville real estate probate. And what's typically going to pop up are real estate attorneys, and you're going to see some of the worst videos you've ever seen. Attorneys should never be on video unless it's a deposition. So they're terrible at marketing, and I'm sorry, I got a lot of friends who are attorneys, but you guys' videos are terrible. Watch those. That's what you don't want to do. Here's what you need to do. If someone's going to go and search sell my probate house, you need to look at search terms like that. And the key is all you do is put in like your area. So if I put in a YouTube, I'm going to create a video that says how to find a Knoxville probate attorney. You know why? Because I'm going to think like a seller. Sellers are searching information. Now, I'm not going to dominate on Google, but when they go to YouTube or a lot of times on the SEO, is because you have video content on probate, on attorneys, you'll typically pop to the top if you get enough searches on it. You can use this in any type of soft marketing you do with an email, or if you have a customer thinking about it. The video doesn't cost you a dime, and you can play around with the title as much as possible. So here's what I want to do. We're going to go through a series of questions that a seller in probate is typically going to search on the internet, and you're going to turn it into a video, and that video should shortcut you to get you more traffic. Guys, it works. I've seen it work before, and I'm telling you it will work. It does not work for attorneys. It works really well for wholesalers. And remember, you have to keep in mind is how am I going to help this person out in probate? Let's go through a series of questions. Number 1, how do I locate a probate attorney in Knoxville, you can make a video on that alone. And guys, these videos are 2 to 5 minutes max. They're simple Q&As. You have to talk on a very low level. The problem with attorneys is they use like really fancy words. Remember, somebody just wants some quick information, and if you can help them out, you have a possibility of buying that property. So that's question number one. The second question, how much does a typical probate attorney cost? And this stuff is gold right here. Probably the number one question I get asked about probates, and you can kind of run it through the gamut. Here's my conversation. Either they're going to charge you hourly, or most states allow them to charge up to 3% of the cost of the real estate. What I recommend is you sit down with an attorney and talk to them about the possibilities. And this is where you can offer them a referral. If they go to your website, they send you an email, and you would happy to forward them a referral on the probate attorneys. I find most sellers with probate are going to the internet to get an attorney probate referral. Attorneys are very strange how they do referrals. You can refer them all day long. You're not getting compensated for it. You just want the deal. This is where if you have a great relationship with a probate attorney, it works out wonderfully. The next one, which is always my favorite one, is can I sell a property prior to the probate being completed? This is where you can go in a little bit of detail where I'm like, yes, there is a technique that you can use to sell the property quickly so you don't have to pay the taxes, the insurance, the mortgage, the lawn, the utilities, you name it. And if you do that, you can sell the property. And when the probate's completed, then you'll be funded. The benefit of this is the estate doesn't drain you dry, and you don't have to think about this property for the next 6 months. If you're interested in hearing more about this, please reach out at, I'd put a phone number, a website if you have one, an email, and a call to action. All these things I'm giving you are titles I would put on a simple probate channel for my area. And here's the last question, which is really critical. And guys, if you can reverse engineer like I'm teaching you right now, is how long does a typical probate take? And once again, this is your opportunity to explain. It varies. It depends on what state you are on. In Knoxville, so I'm just pretending I'm in Knoxville. In the Knoxville area, a typical probate can take anywhere from 6 months to 12 months. But if you're interested, I know of a technique that I can save you a lot of time and money and get the property sold before the probate. Please reach out to me. I would love to discuss this further in detail with you. Remember, you don't want to explain everything on your YouTube channel or like your Facebook page. The idea is to give them a reason to contact you and make it super simple. What I would do is do 2 or 3 titles. So if you do just a simple YouTube with that title, the key is put your city. So I'm in Port St. Lucie. I would put Port St. Lucie probates, or sell your Port St. Lucie probate property, house, whatever it is. And the beauty is you can play around with this. Now, the idea is not to get the most views, the most tractions. It has nothing to do with subscriptions. It's about content, and you want to get it out there. And honestly, if somebody searches organically and they find it to them, you refer them to a probate attorney. You have a good relationship with the probate attorney. You help them with the process. You are in the driver's seat if you can buy this property or not. Remember, the more you help people out, the more rewards you're going to get. So it goes along everything me and Zach teach on this channel. If you can just help out enough people, they will help you out in return. Guys, these tips I just shared with you on the video are amazing. And here's the thing is, it doesn't cost you a dime, so you have nothing to lose. So you might as well try it. It might cost you 30 minutes of your time to record this stuff. That's it. I would get it out there, get as much traction, especially if I'm just starting to dive into probates. And the more you learn, it's going to help educate you. And when people have questions, you can send them a link to your YouTube videos to help explain it as a marketing funnel, because remember, it takes time with probates. So I gave you the 6 reasons why probates are perfect for beginner wholesalers. I also shared with you a never shared technique that I've used in the past to dominate searches for probates by using video over doing regular SEO tech stuff. Guys, it works phenomenally. Don't forget about Facebook when you do that. And I want to leave you with this. You've got to understand that probates take on average up to 6 touches, meaning people need time. You've got to be a human being. You cannot run people over. And if you offer them convenience, you keep their dignity, and you're very respectful in the process, your odds go up tremendously in getting probate deals. Guys, let me know in the comment, are you using this technique to be the authority of probates in your area? And do you agree on these 6 staple items that makes probates perfect for a beginner wholesaler? Guys, let me know in the comments. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the absolute best information on the internet on wholesaling today from Zach and me. And I'll see you in the next video. Guys, this is Rick with Flip with Rick. Thanks.